Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to Truly Odd Game News. I am your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers and let's dive right on into the news. Our first topic today is we now have a Mafia the Old Country gameplay trailer. Now, this is not actually someone playing the game. It's more of a cinematic gameplay trailer, but you get the gist of it. As you watch the trailer, you kind of get an idea of what the gameplay is like, and this looks like a lot of fun. It's kind of like, if you haven't played the Mafia games, I want to say it's somewhat similar to Grand Theft Auto, but it has its own style and its own flair. And I'm really liking the Mafia games. I didn't get a chance to play Mafia 3 though, so hopefully with this being released, we'll get an opportunity to actually check out Mafia 3. But this looks like a lot of fun, and I'm digging what story is so far. They're kind of teasing with the, getting the older family member to bring up the younger member to kind of protect the family and move things along and move things forward. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this trailer. I'll have a link to it in the description down below as always. And I'll have a link to all the articles and everything for all these news things if you want to dive more into it. Or if you want to ask more questions, go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to possibly answer them as we move along here. Anyways, yeah, so Mafia Old Country, what do you guys think about it? On to topic number 2. It looks like Helldivers has released a new Warbond called the Masters of Ceremony. And I'm really liking how this Warbond is looking. I'm liking it looks like, the marching and kind of like the twirling of the weapons that people do in the army. I forget what those are called. Maybe it is Masters of Ceremonies, but who knows? But this looks like a lot of fun. They introduced a new saber weapon, which you could use as a sword and guns. Now, if I'm being honest with you guys, I kind of fell off of Helldivers. I initially got into Helldivers as it first released and I had a lot of fun. It was very entertaining, but as they made changes, making it, nerfing a lot of the weapons and making it kind of boring and harder to play, I kind of fell off of it. I enjoyed the easiness, the just mowing down, waves of bugs. It was a lot of fun initially, and then as they made changes, it just fell off for me and I kind of fell away from it. Now I know that they've made changes to bring it back to how it was during release and stuff like that, but it just doesn't feel the same anymore for me. And I think that's sad to say. And with the introduction of these guns, I feel like any gun that's not a automatic gun is kind of useless and pointless. Now, I don't know if that's good for me to say, seeing as I haven't played it in about, I don't think I've played for like 3 or 4 months now, but maybe I'll pick it up and have to check it out because this Warbond looks like a lot of fun. I would like to use the sword, but again, I don't see how the sword's going to be useful against all these hordes of bugs when they just come at you all at once and you probably have to hit them 6 times with this damn sword. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this Warbond? Are you interested in checking out the sword play? And let me know if the gameplay has gone back to more of a fun aspect. Maybe I'll jump back onto Helldivers and have to check it out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to topic number 3. It looks like Death Stranding 2 has improved its combat. This comes to us from Game Informer, and it comes from Marcus Stewart, who has wrote the following. I hated the combat for Death Stranding. It was slow, BTs were irritating to deal with, and the gunplay felt shoehorned and unnecessary in a game primarily about carrying packages and building roads. I actually avoided fights whenever I could, and the Titanic boss fights towards the end of the game left a sore taste in my mouth. So this end quote. So this is his initial thoughts for the first Death Stranding game. And honestly, I did not get into the first Death Stranding game because the combat was boring and I didn't want to play a walking simulator. It just seemed like a game where you just walked, delivered packages, built roads, and while the story looks really cool and awesome and amazing, just the gameplay wasn't for me. And because I didn't enjoy that and the combat for me wasn't fun, I just didn't play the game. Like, I just stopped playing after, I think I put like 2 hours into the game and I was just done. I was bored, absolutely. But this seems something a lot more interesting now that they are going to be improving the combat. He also said the following. That's why I'm pleasantly surprised to report that after playing over 25 hours of Death Stranding 2, the combat is an absolute blast. Gameplay is much improved, firing weapons, ranging from assault rifles, shotguns to sniper rifles feels good and packs a punch. But it's about how these weapons are implemented, and Kojima Productions seemingly looked at Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, for influence on how to make encounters dynamic and fun. Now, that's the last part I'm going to read about this article, but if you guys are more curious about what he had to say about the game, go ahead and check out the article in the description down below. But I think this is really great news to hear that the combat for this game has been greatly improved. It might be a game I actually have to pick up and check out. And the sad part is, because I'm kind of a bit of a completionist, I'm going to probably have to pick up part 1 and just get through it so I can understand the story. Maybe I can just watch the cinematic trailers or cinematic cutscenes on YouTube so I can understand what's going on. But, for me, I just like to play it through the game sometimes. So maybe not. We'll have to end up waiting to see what happens there. But this is really good news, and it makes me more interested in checking out Death Stranding 2. That trailer that they dropped looked like a lot of fun, and this game looks like it could be really, really great and really entertaining. So I'm hoping that this one feels a lot better for me than the original one did. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for the combat improvements, or did you like the old way that the combat was done and help that they kept it the same? Let me know what you guys think. Moving on to topic number 4. Looks like the Switch 2 sales has a forecast amidst these tariffs. So if you guys hadn't heard, Trump implemented some tariffs, and it caused a bit of an issue with the pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch and, probably the pricing and things like that. But Nintendo has reached a similar forecast for what they have announced. They're forecasting a $15 million sales. I think this is per unit, not dollars. And they're predicting 45 million sales during the current fiscal year, which ends, I believe, on March 31st, 2026. So for that, that's what they're initially planning for the Switch 2, which is really good. I think if they're right about their 15 million, I think this makes the Switch 2 the biggest console launch of all time, if I'm not mistaken. It would make the Switch 2 the biggest console launch of all time, exceeding the original Switch at 14.8 million sold in 1 year. So that's going to be really great for them if this ends up being the case. Now, there's still issues and nothing's guaranteed with all these tariffs going on. Right now, amidst all the demand for the Switch 2, the Sony has said the following. Let me see if I can find it. Nintendo has issued a warning to the U.S. customers who applied for the Switch 2 pre-orders from the My Nintendo store, saying release date deliveries is not guaranteed due to high demand. So nothing's guaranteed for anyone that has pre-ordered a Switch from the Nintendo store, and I'm sure the same goes for other places that have been pre-ordering for the Nintendo Switch. But there seems these tariffs have caused quite a bit of issues and quite a bit of stir, but I think that will still be really great, having a 15 million sales for a console initially, having the biggest console release of all time. So hopefully this is the case. We'll keep it up and going as the releases come along. Hopefully I'll get a chance to grab a Switch 2 myself, but right now I have not pre-ordered one because I don't want to deal with all the hectic drama going on with it. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for the Switch 2? Do you feel like these tariffs are going to cause more issues down the line before it's released? But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And moving on to our last topic, the FTC loses its appeal to stop Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So if you have not heard, I'm sure you guys have heard a long time ago, Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard back in 2002, and there have been court dealings going on trying to stop this acquisition because of monopoly, trade issues, and other, stuff going on. If you know what the FTC is, it stands for Federal Trade Commission. So they tried to appeal the approval for Microsoft acquiring Activision and Blizzard, and it seems that it has failed. So now Microsoft is free to acquire Activision with no issues, even though I'm sure a lot of us have already felt that it has gone through quite some time ago. But yes, no longer issues with that. And the initial problem with this acquisition of Activision is Activision has a lot of games that release on multiple platforms. So a lot of people were thinking that Microsoft was going to purchase this, specifically Call of Duty, and make it a console exclusive for Xbox, which would have been a somewhat smart idea because they need better sales for their Xbox. But it looks like Microsoft is going to be stepping away from the console market probably within these next 2 generations of consoles, and more focus on what Activision Blizzard has been doing, and that is creating video games and pushing them on multiple platforms. We'll have to see what they end up doing in the long haul. But so far, with a lot of their acquisitions from Activision Blizzard to is it Bethesda, they are going to continue to release their games on multiple platforms. And this is proof with the story from the other day that they're going to release Gears of War on the PS5 coming this summer. So yeah, this is good news for Microsoft. I think this is bad news for gamers, only because, how do I say this? I don't think it's bad that Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard. I think it's bad that because they acquired Activision Blizzard, that Xbox will probably no longer be a thing within the next 7 to 8 years. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I think they're going to stop with the consoles and just continue to be Xbox Game Pass. I think that's the future of the company, but I could be mistaken. Who knows where they'll end up being. But let me know what you guys think. Are you happy that Microsoft now has no issues? Activision Blizzard is underneath their wing and they have acquired them, and they will no longer be dealing with any court issues or court filings, and everything is moving ahead. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. And yeah, that does it for today's episode of the Truly Odd Game News, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And until next time, remember, always stay true, be odd.